front.
Freezing rain, cold, and snow all arriving to Billings and beyond. Ed will break it all down.
Plus, a snowmobile adventure turns tragic for a young Colstrip woman.
And it's just amazing how strong she is, mentally and physically.
She barely escapes alive, but a strong support system looking to help her in the recovery.
And a tireless advocate for those with dementia and memory loss.
There's a lot of folks out there with some memory loss and with a dementia. And so it's time for us to make sure they feel welcome and that they're treated with respect.
How one super senior continues to educate and help others.
The MTN 530 News starts right now.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for starting your week with us. I'm Russ Riesinger.
And I'm Andrea Lutz. A quick burst of winter is upon us over the next few hours. We're going to see everything from snow to frigid temperatures.
And those conditions already being seen around Billings, near whiteout conditions here behind me in Reed Point. And this is a glimpse of some treacherous conditions on the Bozeman Pass.
With the very latest on what we can expect here and when, here's Chief Meteorologist Ed McIntosh.
This morning it was sunshine, wondering if we're going to hit 60 degrees. And by right now, here's a live look with the Stockman Bank weather cam as we move across the city. You can see the snow moving in. The winds finally have started to taper off behind that cold front, but these roads are very treacherous out there this evening. Almanac for the day, 59 was the warmest reading, and then 22 is the coldest so far. But that's because the temperature continues to drop almost every few minutes. We'll see it drop even more. You see some of the snow up here onto the rims. Wind gusts today up to 45 miles per hour as the winds have tapered off. We picked up a few hundredths of an inch, but already having an effect with snow and slick roads across the region. Take a closer look coming up in a few minutes.
Many snowmobilers are hoping the snow will pile up in places like Cook City. But for one young Colstrip woman, a snowmobile adventure turned to tragedy when she hit an old track and went flying down the hill. 2 emergency flights later, she's left with some pretty serious injuries and unable to walk in a Colorado hospital. But as our Haley Monaco found out, it could have been even worse.
20-year-old Mackenzie Schillner grew up doing exactly this, but earlier this month she was in a terrible accident and is left with many unknowns, but has a rescue story that the family will never forget. The first snowmobiling trip of this season for the Schindlers quickly turned from winter fun to worry.
My ski hit like an old track and it kind of like sucked me in, so I jumped off.
The Colstrip family traveled to Cook City earlier this month and were riding up near Daisy Pass.
All I could hear behind me was like my sled rolling. So I just kind of threw my head down in the snow and my sled smoked me in the back.
In a split second, Mackenzie was unable to move and separated from her family. Her father says just minutes before the group separated to head up a hill, they ran into a group learning how to snowmobile.
It's kind of rare to have another group kind of in that little area.
And by a stroke of luck, the group was filled with medical professionals.
You know, I really do believe that God sent them up to that little bowl where we were playing up there to help us out.
Life Flight couldn't make it to the remote area, so Cook City Search and Rescue took Mackenzie down the mountain. An ambulance brought her to Livingston, where a helicopter then brought her to Billings Clinic.
It's been hard. So I broke from T10 to L2.
She had 2 rods put in her back and is now recovering at the Craig Rehabilitation Center in Colorado. As of now, doctors don't know what the young woman's future will look like.
I think it's just mentally and physically hard to try to, because life was so easy before and now it's not.
Friends are doing all they can. A GoFundMe has already raised more than $5,000, and the search and rescue team in Cook City has already planned a fundraiser for next month. The Schindlers say everything helps with a long road ahead. In Billings, Haley Monaco, MTN News.
You may think that lower than normal snowpack would mean less avalanche risk in places like Cook City, but that's not necessarily true, especially with this new system expected to bring fresh snow to the region.
Anytime we have thin snowpack sitting on the ground midwinter, those grains get real kind of granular, almost like sand or rice or sugar, and they don't bond well together. And so now that we're starting to see some actual snowfall, we're putting weight on top of this week's snow, and we're seeing avalanches.
Chabot says when heading into the backcountry to always travel in pairs and make sure to carry rescue gear.
There's a new man in charge of the Lockwood Fire District. Chief Brandon Stevens tells me the day applications open for the chief position in Lockwood, he drove all the way from Miles City to be the first in line to turn in his application at 8 in the morning. He hopes residents know that's the kind of motivation he brings to the position.
As Chief Brandon Stevens takes me around his new department.
Honestly, it's been a joy. Everybody's been great.
It's a much different scenario than the last time we saw him.
Where the crews used to be. Getting that fire station was the fight of my life.
We first met Chief Stevens in Miles City. You may remember this, a fire station unlivable, unstable, and in dire need of repairs.
It was hard to leave, because you put, I put 23 years in Miles City.
And much of that time rallying the public to build a new fire station, eventually getting a bond on the ballot where voters said yes.
It's a lot bigger than I had realized. I wanted to be in Lockwood. I wanted to be at this department.
But now at the helm here in Lockwood.
Timing is timing, and so I jumped at this opportunity.
That fight in Miles City to better his department is the same kind of energy he says he wants to bring to Lockwood.
And he has really tried to get things to turn around with limited resources, and he's excelled.
However, this time his goals are different. Just 3 months onto the job, and he's already creating a document for strategic planning in an area seeing hypergrowth.
Whether that's more employees, a second fire station, having highly trained firefighters is vital to keeping this community safe.
He says he wants residents to know he's confronting Lockwood's own specific issues with careful planning and consideration.
I knew this is the place for me.
Chief Stevens says he's already hit the ground running, working on a Medicaid and Medicare survey as Lockwood Fire District runs its own ambulance service with fully staffed paramedics.
Well, the Billings School Board looks to take a step forward tonight on 2 new safety mill levies.
Those levies will total roughly $5 million, and tonight the board will determine what exactly they'll include. Both the elementary and high school levies propose to add counselors, nurses, school resource officers, mental health specialists, and a gang prevention and dropout prevention specialist. Camera systems and safety supplies would also be part of the plan.
It covers all sorts of amazing things. So everything from intercom systems that work throughout the whole school district, to camera systems, to other safety things like AEDs in the elementary schools. But then it also covers things like increasing our SRO number and our school counselor, our school nurses. There's tons of stuff in there that our schools need.
If voters decide to pass both those levies, it would add about $60 annually to a home valued at $300,000.
Our Super Senior segment spotlights our community's more seasoned citizens who are still going strong and making a difference. Tonight, I introduce you to Suzanne McKiernan, who has been instrumental in bringing dementia-friendly training to Billings, as well as developing the Memory Cafe program.
Super Seniors is sponsored by the following partners.
So good to see you again. Yes.
Once a month, the Memory Cafe meets here at the Billings Library.
So it's going to be messy and it's going to be fun.
It's a chance for those experiencing memory loss and their caregivers to get together with others who are in the same boat. On this day, they're decorating cookies.
There's a lot of folks out there with some memory loss and with a dementia. And so it's time for us to make sure they feel welcome and that they're treated with respect. And so that's my passion.
It's a passion that began a few years back for Susan McKiernan. She's been a tireless advocate for raising awareness and understanding of those living with dementia. While working with Big Sky Senior Services, she started Dementia-Friendly Billings, providing training and education, like this recent session for Billings police officers.
And I know the police are trained in their situations to come up and grab somebody and talk really loud and fast. And that's just the opposite of what we do with someone with dementia.
Not long after starting Dementia Friendly, her own husband was diagnosed with Lewy body dementia and later passed away.
I know what a caregiver does because I did it for over 2 years. And so I know the pros and cons of that. I know what a challenge it can be.
In 2022, Susan launched the Memory Cafe as a way to help meet that challenge. It gives those with memory loss an opportunity to get out and spend some time doing fun activities with others. Sina Anderson is caretaker for her friend Barb.
So that's probably the thing that I enjoy the most about coming here, is because she can talk to other people and have an interaction with other people.
Oh, lots of challenges. Yeah, you could probably make a whole list.
Troy Waller and his mother Jan are here for the first time.
Gives you something to do and people to talk to that are in the same place that we are.
People that have memory loss they're not poison. Open your arms to them.
Well, it's not always easy caring for someone with memory loss. This type of socialization can sometimes make a real difference. And that's what inspires this Super Senior.
I just love it. Yeah, it's just something that I love doing.
And if you'd like to nominate someone for Q2's Super Senior segment, you can do so by clicking on the Super Seniors tab. It's at the top of our website, ktvq.com.
Still to come on the MTN 530 News on Q2, a fall off the rims has one mother now searching for answers. We'll hear their story next.
And later, against all odds, 4 Wyoming wrestlers continue to jump over every hurdle after surviving a gruesome grizzly attack. We'll head back to Powell in just a bit.